Yo,
Yo,
Hadji.
what's up,
what's going on, y'all?
dude?
It's good, bro.
Crazy,
Good.
crazy meeting you, bro. Super excited, man.
Yo, yeah, it's great to meet both of y'all too, for real.
How are you? How
I'm
are you?
chilling, man. I'm good. I'm chill. What do I got? I got like Coachella background. I'm gonna leave that shit. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I have a song dropping at midnight, so I'm like anxious, but I just kind of want to get that shit over with. Feel me?
Yeah, dude, we've been waiting on that one, the pre-save and all that, man.
Hey, that's what matters. The algorithms, they love that shit, bro.
Dude, seriously, you're big on Spotify, bro. I've seen your numbers and the recap you had.
Yeah, man. Bro. I appreciate it. It's been like a solid like 2 years of building on there. Yeah, shout out to the algorithms, bro.
Yeah, bro.
They be doing the work for me. I don't really have to do anything. I just mad people are just like, oh, I was in your Discover Weekly, and it's like I had nothing to do with that shit. It's fire. It's like nothing feels better than like shit happening that you had absolutely like nothing to do with. It's so fire.
Dude, that's amazing, bro. And it's just like a sign that means like you're meant for this shit. You know what I mean?
I like to think of it that way.
Hell yeah, bro.
Well, hopefully the rest of the world does too. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys for having me on too. For real. It's a dope concept.
I appreciate it, dude. I'm 100%. Kira, and this is IJR, man. Let's start it off with some questions IJR had for you today. So
word.
Let's hit him with one, IJR.
You know, earlier when we spoke in the DMs, you gave me all the responses for the questions, and I saw you mentioned that you only started taking this seriously like a year or two.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years, I would say. About June 20.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was like I was taking it seriously, but like serious as like it was my serious hobby.
Now, prior to you like actually becoming like super serious, super focused, would you say you had something building up already, or
absolutely, yeah. I would say I really started messing around with shit like with a little bit more of a serious angle, like 2016 probably. 17-ish. I was still in college, and I went to school in a different city than where I grew up. So I grew up in New York City. I went to college in Philly, so I wasn't home as much. And a lot of the people that were super creative around me that I thought I knew like to make music with, like they were all in Queens back home. And so being in college, like with a bunch of like, it was a very like different kind of environment from where I was from, and so I kind of had this idea that like nobody else was like into this shit around me, and like I should just sit in my room and do it by myself. By the time I got like towards like my senior-ish year, I had this really cool job working on campus where me and two of my friends, we get to pick like all the artists for the shows that year. And so like there was a big committee that did like the show for like the people who don't really fuck with music. So like they would have like a big pop star, like a DJ or whatever. Like our committee was like, yo, you get like this much money. It's a lot less than theirs, but like they were like, just book whoever the hell you want. You don't even have to sell tickets. Like just like pick artists you fuck with. And so like when I was there, 2016, 17, we had Kevin Abstract from Brockhampton.
Love Kevin.
Which is great. We had Daniel Caesar was our big one.
Damn.
Yeah, and so like I got to see all these dudes like just kind of like figuring their shit out, and it was super inspiring for me.
You've been around.
Yeah, awesome. And you really got to see like artists who had like this like internet buzz, but like they hadn't, they weren't signed yet, or like they didn't like take the big step yet. But they were like putting the pieces together, and it just made it all feel kind of real to me.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so doing that like definitely inspired me. I still hadn't made anything. I mean, I was making shit, but like I think the first time I made a song that really felt like a Hadji song was when I made Harajuku, which was in like April 2018. So that's why I say it's been about 2 years since I really started like trying to turn shit up.
I feel you. I feel that, dude. I think like the first time I ever heard a song from you, excuse me, was 1-800 Purgatory, bro. And I just was like, I knew you were pushing like something new at the time, but I was just like so stuck on that one song. I was like, hold up, I
appreciate it, man.
Like, I can't move on until I fucking finish this one, bro. Like,
that was a really fun one to make too. It was cool. The producer and I met for the first time that day where we made that song. We just like wrote the whole thing and just kind of, he's a super cool guy. This guy Dan Edinburgh. He's played on like Anderson .Paak's last album, like all this shit.
Oh shit.
So I got linked to him through like a friend of mine, and Yeah, I pulled up. It was like a week before coronavirus, like really shut down New York. So we had to just finish everything virtually. And I've only met this guy once, but he's the homie, you know?
Yeah, dude.
Like we got this whole song together and it came out really nice.
Hell yeah.
And so like, it was a pretty cool experience, you know, knocking that one out super fast. Some of the songs on the album are a lot older than that. So like, it was definitely like a cool, like kind of cornerstone.
Yeah, most definitely, dude. That like I said though, like usually, you know, people get tired of listening to a song over and over again. But trust me, bro, my girl even knows the lyrics.
Let's go.
It's ridiculous.
It's fire. I love that. I love that, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, bro. And I saw the. I remember we had a little back and forth going on Twitter not too long ago where I had mentioned you, like, you know, doing an Overcast video would be pretty fire.
Yo, I would love that. They're the homies, dude. For real.
I can't wait. I'm manifesting it, bro. I can't wait for
that. Yeah, please. Manifest that shit.
Yeah. Dude.
I've sent some unreleased over there too, like a couple times, and they've been like, "Yo, this is fire." So, you know, it's like fingers crossed type shit. Yeah, for sure. I have some shit for 2021. I'm like super hyped about. I was making some shit today too. I'm like really feeling.
You're really innovative with what you have available too, with those puppets in the video. Like,
yo, hold on, let me turn my background off because they're on the couch.
Oh shit.
Let me see. Hold on, how do I do that? Yeah, they're right there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a really fun video to make because it was literally like in the heat of quarantine. Like I hadn't been outside for like 2-3 weeks. You know, like shit was really crazy here in New York, so it was like. This is like March, you know, April, May, June. Like I was really like, I would ride my bike every day for like 45 minutes and that was it. Like I'd be back in the house. I wouldn't go to the supermarket. I wouldn't like, it was crazy. But I was really lucky where this girl that I knew was a friend of a friend posted, and she's also a friend of mine's roommate, right? So I know like kind of all three of these people who helped make the video together. But this other girl posted this video of like some claymation shit she did. I was like, yo, that's fire. You want to do a music video? She was like, yeah, send me some songs. So I sent her Catch These Hands and 1-800. And she was like, yo, I fuck with both. She's like, I really fuck with both of these. But I have this idea for 1-800 and it's like not claymation, it's like puppets. And I was like, I like, you know, like, what's the worst that could happen, you know? Right, and so they just like went on eBay, they found those puppets, like I caught them, like they put that entire video together. I had nothing to do with like making it at all, which is like definitely different from the rest of my videos where I'm like very hands-on. Like either I come with like a specific idea or like I kind of help develop the whole thing. With them, like I didn't see the video until I saw the final one. I didn't even really know what anything was gonna look like. And they killed it so hard. And I was just like blown away. I was like, yo, what the fuck? I can't believe like I just had this made, you know?
Yeah.
So it's crazy that came together during quarantine. But dude, yeah,
I'm grateful that shit got made because when you posted the link under me, like replying to that, like it already has a video. I was like, holy shit. You know? Like,
that's the funny thing about videos. Sometimes I just don't know how to like promote them enough, you know? Like I'm definitely learning and I have some shit up my sleeve, but that's the tough thing. Like people will love a song on Spotify and they'll give it 1 million plays and like I'll have this great video for it on YouTube and it's like there's really like so little of a connection between Spotify and YouTube to like get somebody from there to there. I'm really trying to like figure out how I want to do that as an artist, you know, independently. But I'm trying to get creative with it. I have a couple cool ideas, but yeah, I just try to, you know, always make the visuals pop.
Explain to us about your most recent video though, dude. How did that go? I know you're really like proud of your acting in that one. So
the Telescope one or the one that's dropping at midnight? Oh yeah. So Telescope was really fun. That's like my like family's house upstate in New York. So we like drove up there. We actually shot the 4049 video and the Telescope video over the same weekend. And so like those are like kind of like the same like property. There's just like this little camp house thing where we did the 4049 one, and then the big house is where we did the Telescope one. And so when I wrote that song, like I kind of had this idea, like I have an ex who lives like really far, and like but like it's just like, you know, exes be, and it's just like always like weird contact. And but it was really funny because it was somebody that I know is physically could not be like further from me on the earth right now, just like spying on me. And it's like, how are you doing this? Like, you know. And so that's where the Telescope concept came from. And then I thought about it and I realized there was a telescope in that house. So I was like, yo, we have to shoot a video there. We already have the telescope. Like, this is just so self-explanatory. And yeah, it was really fun doing like throwing on like the Diggy's jumpsuit and like doing the whole like, you know, housekeeper vibes.
Dude, with the lawnmower and shit. I loved it.
Yeah, man. This dude Adam that I work with, Adam Ginsberg, who's we went to college together. I didn't really know him in college, but we became a lot closer, you know, doing this video shit together. He's also a really dope musician. He did 4 out of 7 of the videos on this album. So it's 4049, Telescope, Runner's High, and then the one that drops tomorrow.
Right.
And so like we grew a lot as like a video music team, I think, in the past, like just over those 4 videos itself. And he did 46 of Bliss too, which is on the album, but also came out this year.
Right.
He's like incredibly talented dude, so it was really fun working with him on that. Yeah,
I feel like you guys are gonna make a big impact, bro. Like I shit you not, like every morning there's a routine I go through. Like you're on there, I have another artist. Like you're definitely on the list in the morning, bro. Like it's crazy.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep shit coming. Like that's just the way it is these days. You know, like artists don't really take a lot of time off. I'm thankful. I have 2 songs. I want to say 2 in the tuck that I like are like undoubtedly, hands down, better than any shit I've ever put out, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But, and then I have a bunch of other songs that I also fuck with, and then a lot of shit in the pipeline that I think is gonna be like really cool. So it's just getting like the videos ready and all that shit, and just kind of like trying to make like a splash, you know, with all it. But
right, it's all about like timing and shit like that. You've been telling me next year you have a couple plans, so I'm fucking looking forward to everything you drop, bro.
Yeah, so, man. Just gotta keep it going, man. Yeah, and I'm definitely hoping that like touring comes back. Would be a big clutch thing.
That would be cool as fuck, bro. Where would you tour to? Where would you what kind of cities would you
Oh man, like I think like with the stage that I'm at in my career, like I'm probably realistically a good choice to be like an opener on a tour. Because you know, like I haven't established that I can sell tickets in fucking, I don't know, like you just name a place. Like I haven't established I can sell tickets anywhere outside of New York and Philly, right? So it's like I have a lot of growth to do in that area. I actually would have had a show in LA in April if it wasn't for the coronavirus shit, which would have been cool. But I'm super excited for that because I also kind of want to watch an artist like tour who's either toured before or like just has like a bigger fan base, so I can kind of study and like learn from shit. You know, I've played a lot of shows around New York, but it's kind of, you know, it's the same shit. Like you just play at the bar, your friends come, like my parents always pull up, which is funny, and like it's just like, you know, a good like little thing. But I want to, you know, obviously build off that and like try to learn how to make things bigger and better and shit.
Bro, I feel that.
Yeah.
So I hadn't heard of you prior to Kira putting me on. So I want to say this was about like 2 months ago. We were filming a podcast, and you know, Kira goes, "Hey, we should react to this guy's named Hadji." I'm like, "Hadji, okay, all right, we'll check him out. Cool." So we checked out a ton of your shit, dude. I think we watched the Telescope video. We listened to Runner's High, and you know, ever since then, I've just been especially 1-800 That's the one that I keep on the playlist too, because that's the one that Kira always plays. So,
love it, man. I love that.
Yeah,
shit.
It's always on when I go on his lives. Anyway,
yeah, I'm always playing that bitch on Instagram Live.
Recently, since I knew I had to, you know, we were covering you.
That's fine.
Since I knew we were covering you, I was like, yo, I gotta dive into the discography a little bit. And every song that I listened to, I noticed, dude, like there's such a happy vibe. It's so bright. It is so bright whenever I listen to your vocals, and they're so smooth. And I just want to know, where does that come from? Is it natural? Is it natural?
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, like I feel like I'm generally like more of a, I guess like a glass half full kind of person. So I think that tends to come across musically. I just, you know, I try to keep a positive attitude about shit. I think that kind of affects like the way that I think, which then like affects the way that I like when I hear a beat, I'm like, oh, I want to do this, you know, or like even if I hear like an instrumental, I'm like, nah, like, yo, this is fire because like it's got a little bit of that like, you know, kind of like fun energy to it. But yeah, I feel like even like sometimes I pick kind of like more melancholy beats, and I still like kind of have like a more like, yeah, it's not that bad energy, which is cool. Like I fuck with that. Like it's just kind of like my personality, you know. Like I like to keep shit keep shit light, you know, but try to see the glass half full kind of shit, you know.
And like I said, I appreciate that shit because like I said, I put it on in the morning, so it just starts the day right. You know what I mean? So,
That's fire, man. I gotta do that to myself. Sometimes I'm struggling to get out of bed, but be like that, you know.
I feel that, bro. I feel that. But yeah, man. Explain your creative process though. Like, so how do you go about say you haven't. I know you probably got like a bunch of stuff stored up in the vault or whatever, but like say you go in the studio, make something new. Like, how do you go about it? What's the process?
Word. So it really varies on who I'm working with, if I'm working with anybody. I really started making music with my homie Mike, Mike Mraz, who's an incredible producer and engineer. He's just a kid from my neighborhood that I just happened to meet through another kid. And he's like, we've really helped each other kind of build this sound together. So he produced all of my early shit, like Harajuku. He did 46 and Bliss. He did 40 to 49 spruce on the album. Yeah, and then so in the past, and he's done a bunch, like Hitting Different, and actually all three of those were in the same day. Like he's crazy. He's like an absolute like insane producer. Only one of his songs is on Purgatory, like on the album, but we have a ton of shit in the song for next year, and we're always making shit together.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I really like, I have a very particular way of working, like when it's with him, you know, because we have so much chemistry as a producer artist like duo. And then when it comes to other producers, like once I work with them enough times to get comfortable, like I have my own you know, kind of rhythm with them. So the dudes who did Runner's High, Catch His Hands, and 1-800 not 100 Runner's High, Catch His Hands, and Telescope. Or it's the same two dudes in the studio called Shifted Recording in Brooklyn. And so we met like last year at some point, and we just kind of like built that kind of like rapport together on music. And so like we kind of have our own chemistry too. It's like a little different. With them, I play the keys a lot on the songs. Like I play the keys on Runner's High and Telescope and Catch His Hands. With Mike, like I don't really touch the instruments as much because he's just nasty. So I kind of just let him like live in his space. And then the other two songs on the album, besides 1-800, which was all Dan, because Dan is also nasty, was with this dude, Jack LeBose, who's super talented too. And I had also just met him like last year. So the two songs that we have on there, which neither of them are out, but you know, one of them comes out at midnight. One of them will come out on Tuesday with the rest of the album. And we actually started those, like I started both of those in my room, like just chilling during quarantine. And then I would send them to him and we would like work on them on Zoom. But like one shit kind of opened, like I kind of helped finish some shit in person, but most of it was just like on Zoom. Like that's just, I was like, yo, I have this idea, like I don't know how to make drums sound good, like, but I have all this and I like to play the guitar and like do these little things. And then that's like how both those songs became a thing. Damn, so it really varies on the producer, you know. Sometimes I just sit down. I have a lot of voice notes of like random melodies and shit. I have a voice note of like the Runner's High hook, like at like 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep and it came in my head and I was like, fuck, that's I can't believe I didn't do that today in the studio. Like that's good. It's really funny. It's like I'm like whining it at like 2 a.m. But yeah, definitely a lot of voice noting. I tend not to write entire songs in one sitting. It happens every once in a while, but a lot of times I'll do a first verse and I'll do a chorus and I'll sit on it and be like, yo, what does this song need coming after that, right? Because after it gives me a little time to figure out like what the vibe of the song is. Like it kind of allows me to figure out like how to keep the energy interesting on the next part, or like, do I just go for a beat switch? I love beat switches. So it's like, have I finished what I can do on this? Like, how do I like extend the song for another minute in an interesting way? Sometimes though, like Harajuku, like I just sat down, I wrote the entire thing in like 30 minutes and just like came to you, you know? That's the way like inspiration is. I've seen a lot of interesting, I saw this producer I really fuck with, this artist I really fuck with, tweeted this thing that was like, yo, I learned that like, it's way better for me to just work when I'm inspired than it is for me to like try to like force myself to do some shit. Cause like I'll sit there and force myself to do some shit for 12 hours and then I'll just hate it when I'm inspired. So he's like, you know, like, I just learned to allow myself to show up when I'm inspired. I'm like that a little bit, but I also like to set time aside to like be like, all right, I know I have to write this verse today, so I'm gonna try to figure it out, or at least get some pieces together so that I'm a little more comfortable in my head about like finishing it. That's usually the way I work, especially in quarantine when it's like I'm in my house either way. So I don't really have an excuse, you know, like before that, it would be easy for me to be like, yo, I'm gonna be in the studio Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So I know like, yo, the other 4 days I'm chilling. Those 4 days I'm in there and I'm working. Now that it's quarantine, a lot of it is just in my hands. Like it's a little different, but I've kind of grown to figure out how that works too, you know?
Yo, so tell us about the new song. Tell us about
Yo, I'm really excited for you guys. I should have sent it. I don't know why I didn't send it to you guys. But I'm really excited about it. It's called Guido Miss Karma. It's a hyphenated ass track, so it's got like a first half and a second half. So yeah, this is actually probably like the most I've done on production. This and the song Hot Air that drops on Tuesday. So on Guido, like I'm playing the bass, I'm playing the guitar, I'm playing the keys. I even did a little bit of the vocal shit, but not all of it. Like it's, if you listen to the version before Jack touched it, like it's not nearly like Jack's drums are so fire. Like they really changed the entire game with that. But basically in the first half, so Guido is like kind of like a slang word for like a dude who like, you know, just fucks around and like is like kind of just like driving fast cars around my neighborhood and like, you know, flexing and like doing stupid shit. Okay. It's just kind of like a funny word. So yeah, the reason why I picked it and kind of like the concept of the song is like the first half of the song is like it's kind of like more upbeat. Like I always say, it sounds like the coolest car commercial ever. Like it's got like this like driving ass beat. It's like kind of like a rappy hook, and I do some weird like pitch shit with my voice in the verse, which I'm excited for. Like there's nothing I've really done like this before in the verse. And then like it's all like, you know, kind of like, damn, you want me back, like too bad. And the chorus is like, shorty want to ride in the ride, but she only gets inside when it's running. Shorty want to drive by running. Shorty want to ride when she's running. And it's like, just like all this shit is like, you know, like, yo, she wants to hang out, but she's kind of a flake. And then it's like, damn, I'm like popping out or whatever, popping. And and it's like the entire perspective flips, right? And then there's like a drastic beat switch to this. It's like kind of like more just like an acoustic guitar thing. And the second half is like just like kind of like about knowing somebody is cheating on you.
Oh shit! Damn, yeah. So it's just like switch up.
Yeah, and it's like kind of a dramatic switch. I'm really excited. I feel like the two pieces are like necessary for each other, even though they're so different. And the video is gonna connect it all in like a very interesting way. So I'm excited for that. Bro. I really think this is like our craziest video.
Wow, that sounds really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. I can send you the song. I just set the video to Premiere, so like I can't, like if I send you the link, it's just gonna say Premiere. But it premieres tomorrow at noon my time. Right. But I can definitely send you guys the song. It's actually out on SoundCloud. So if you just like, I don't even have to send it to you. It's like
is it on your Bandcamp? Because I know you sent the
email. It is on my Bandcamp. Yeah, the whole album's on my Bandcamp right now. Actually, it's just like low key, but whatever. I can tell you guys about the coolest thing. I think I haven't told anybody this really yet, but the entire album is gonna be on VHS. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like I have these like custom VHS boxes. And so I have this version of the video. I'm finishing up right now. I literally have iMovie open like under this, but I have this version of the video, the videos together. And basically it's like, I'll play like, you know, 3 minutes of like BTS, like funny shit about shooting the video. And then I like rewind the video and like, it's like pitched up. So like, it just sounds like this like weird, like kind of hyper poppy, like sample of like the song. And then I just like narrate like, you know, yo, this is like kind of like what I told you guys about each song, but for all 7 of them. And it's gonna all be together on like an actual VHS tape, and like it's gonna work. Like if you play it, like if you pop it into a VHS player that you somehow have, like it's gonna play. But the cool thing is that there's gonna be like a private link for people who buy the VHS so that they can watch it on YouTube. But like you know, you can still, it's like more of a collector's item. I'm super excited. I really wanted to do like a cool piece of merch, so this is something I've had like my hand in, from like getting the boxes made to like finding a VHS player to like hooking up like an Xbox 360 with like the fucking cords to like record it like each one by one. It's like definitely some real hands-on shit, but I'm super excited for it.
Dude, that sounds interesting as fuck. I would definitely try to get one if I I know they're probably gonna be limited and shit. So
yeah, there's a couple. We'll see, you know, I mean, shit, make some shit happen. Like, I don't know, like, you know, feel like that.
That sounds so creative, dude, and I love to see, because that shows how passionate you are about this project.
Yeah, man. I was just trying to come up with the most interesting ways to present shit, because there's just so much music out there right now that it's like,
Of course.
The more I can do in that field, like the better for people finding it. And then I just hope they stick around, you know, whenever they connect with it.
And I feel like you're really, you are definitely making, you know, some noise, and we see it because I see like different, you know, A&Rs that I follow off a personal, you know, level of my artistry and shit, and they're paying attention to you too. So it's just like, damn, dude, this guy's really out there doing something great.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. That's a whole new world. I didn't know anything about that shit until my first song started doing well, and I was like, what do I do now? You know,
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting part of the industry. I remember I had a label meeting like right after that song. It was like 2018. I knew nothing about what it meant to like sign to a label, or like what that looks like financially, or even just like what like a day-to-day life of like someone who signed to a label is. And like I remember sitting down and they were like, so like, you got anything else? You know, and I was like, hell no. Like I didn't think anybody was gonna hear this shit. So I was like, yo, like I don't really have anything else. Like I can go make some, you know, and then obviously nothing came from that. But that whole side of the industry is fascinating to me. I'm starting to learn more about it. Just, you know, through my own work and just paying attention to like other artists, that even the ones that I know who get signed. Like, you know, I'm always just paying attention and trying to figure out what makes the most sense for me. Like I'm obviously indie now. Like I enjoy being indie. I think I have a lot of room to grow being indie.
I feel that.
But like I'm not like a Chance the Rapper. Like never will I sign. Like, you know, like I'm just looking for the right situation. I care more about like an A&R who would like understand what I'm trying to do and like have creative ways to like bring that to more people, versus somebody who just like sees this one song of mine and thinks I can make 30 more of them and like have that be like profitable at some point. Like that's not really, that might work, but like I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, you want to be more personal. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you're really building something. It's like working somewhere. It's like you want to work with a bunch of people you fucking hate, or like you want to work with some people that, you know, kind of understand you, and it just seems like kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, and you have longevity to think about. You don't want something that's gonna like, you're gonna be put in a label, right, with a team that's not even, you know, working for you. They're just working for the label.
Or everybody gets fired. That shit happens all the time. Like they're like, yeah, that part of the label doesn't exist anymore. So now you're under this other thing with this person who didn't sign you, and it's like they don't even really fuck with you because like they didn't sign you. You know, it's a crazy world. Like it just has to be right for me to do that. You know, everybody gets excited at the thought of it, and I get it. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like when I get certain emails or like DMs from A&Rs, like I'm like, oh, I feel great for the entire week, even if I know it's gonna be some bullshit. Right. But like it doesn't even like it's just like I enjoy like the, you know, like it just makes me feel like I'm on the right path. So like I'll take it for that for now, you know.
It's results, bro, from what you're doing. I would see it as that, like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You definitely have eyes on you, bro. So just keep doing what you're doing.
I'm on it, man. I'm on that shit.
Fucking crazy, man. I can't wait. But yeah.
100%. Yo, so I was just reading over some of the answers that you had sent me for the write-up questions.
Facts.
You were gonna be a high school teacher?
I was a high school teacher. I was a high school teacher for 2 years. Yeah. I taught I was like, I graduated college, I was 21. I was in a classroom with like 18, 19-year-olds. Yeah. I was just like a regular ass like high school teacher in the Bronx. Yeah, I taught math.
Wow.
I taught social studies my first year. I taught math my second year. But yeah, ever since then when I mean like started taking music seriously, like about a year and a half ago now, like at the end of the 2018-19 school year, I decided like, yo, I'm not coming back as a full-time teacher. Like I'm gonna be a substitute, you know, so I don't have to work every day a week and just spend more time in the studio, more time working on shit. Wow. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun day job. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of miss the kids too, although I would still see them sometimes, you know, when I was subbing. But yeah, it's funny as hell too, because like I'll meet other artists and like we'll be in the studio together and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm 19. And I'll be like, bro, I literally taught kids like the same age as you. Like, and I'm in here like, and we're like colleagues, you know? It's interesting. I mean, it's some bullshit, you know? It's just like anything, people wherever they are. And like, it's really just like the, you know, like the structure you're in that like creates like the dynamic of like, oh, this person's my teacher, this person's not. I actually had a kid, or a former like graduated student who came to the BTS and did some like photo shoot for one of my videos because he wants to be a photographer. So It's cool, man. It was a cool job. I miss it a little bit sometimes, but you know, I know it's like the right thing to do to like chase my shit. I would definitely like allow like my biases on like music to like affect the way I thought of kids. Like if I saw a kid had good music taste, like he was like safe, you know, like he didn't really have to turn shit in like at that point. I remember I walked past this kid and he was like listening to music low key in class. And like I was like kind of tight at first, but like I'm not the teacher to like get super tight. But I was just like I walked past him and I was like, oh, he's listening to Watching Movies with the Sound Off, like the Mac Miller album. And I was like, yes. Nah, keep going. Yeah, I was like, you good. You know, like there's just like certain shit.
Dude, that's what
I would try to so tight to be a tight dude.
Yeah, I would try to bring music into my like curriculum too. It was easier to do in social studies than in math. I think my favorite thing that I ever did, it's kind of ridiculous, but we were teaching a unit on Chicago and like gang violence in Chicago and just like the history of like the Black Panthers and like all this kind of shit, just kind of like to give our kids like more of a perspective on like why the world is like the way it is today.
Right.
And we played them a video of Vic Mensa calling academics a bitch. And like basically the prompt for the class day was like, do you think academics is a bitch? And because it was like Vic Mensa was like, yo, you have this huge platform talking about Chicago and gun violence and like people who die in the streets, like, and you're not even from here and you just make money off of it. And I just had the kids talk about it and I was like, what do you think about that? How does that affect like the way you read a news headline about gun violence in Chicago when it comes from like Donald Trump, who's like never been there, or like, you know, somebody who's like has nothing to do with it, trying to spin it in their own direction, you know? But yeah, that was like my whole like Hannah Montana career, like on the side, you know, like I was just teaching kids, like it was pretty funny.
I love that. That's
cool,
great.
Dude.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And another thing I was gonna bring up, dude, I was just reading over this shit, dude. It is so crazy. Paris, tell me about Paris.
Yo, this is honestly still like the craziest moment of my life. Like, so I have these cousins, and they studied abroad in the Netherlands like last summer. And like all three of them, they're like sisters. They're all like around my age. So they were all there for a semester. And my mom was like, yo, let's go visit them, but we'll meet them in Paris because like they were just like going around Europe, you know, like having fun, like kids do when they study abroad. And so we met them in Paris. One night, me and my mom went out to dinner. And like I heard my friend's song. So the first night we went out, right? It was with everybody, like my cousins and them. And they played my friend's song, this dude, The Second Sex, who was like another kid from Queens that makes music, is super dope. And I remember texting him, like, and I have a song with him too, like we have a song called Hemlock together. And so I was texting him like, bro, they're playing your shit in Paris, like this is crazy, blah, blah, you know? And so that was at this one night's restaurant. We planned on going to a totally different restaurant the next night. And we walk in and it's like mad crowded. It doesn't look that good. So we go across the street to this like fancy looking restaurant. And it turns out it's owned by the same people as the first one, right? So they have a similar Spotify playlist playing. So I'm sitting down and I'm eating and like they play My Friend again. And I was like, bro, what if they play the song I have with them, right? And then the next thing you know, like I'm just taking a bite and I'm like, bro, that's my shit. So it wasn't like, you know, like it wasn't just like I was out to dinner and like out of nowhere I heard my song. Like I had an idea that it might come on, but I was not sure, you know?
Right.
And like they obviously, it was just a pure coincidence. And like it was a good video on my Instagram, like me and my mom being like, yo, like this is crazy. Like she's like telling the waiter, like doesn't speak English.
Dude,
like,
coincidence or not, I would have shat my pants. I would have been like, this is my song in a foreign country.
Yeah, I definitely like
play my song.
The fact that my mom was there is just like added so much to it too. Cause like, I mean, obviously like I'm sure she was like proud in that moment or whatever, but I also feel like if anybody ever questions like my career decision, like I have that moment in my pocket to be like, remember when we were in Paris, they played my shit on the radio, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like it was just a really good moment. I felt very validated. That was probably the one moment. I think that was the prompt to that question, right? Where it was like the one moment that, you know, really like felt like, you know, this shit's real. But that was definitely that moment for me up to this point.
I think there was just one last thing, and I probably should have asked it before the Paris story because it's a little more.
That's all good.
It's a little more technical, a little more nitty gritty, kind of. I mean, I was literally just gonna ask you to describe your sound, dude. Like, how do you approach your sound? I know you already went through your creative process, but you know, how would you describe your sound, and what led you to your approach of that sound? Because sometimes, you know, I'll play your stuff, and it'll be very, you know, very indie centered. And then I was listening to I believe it was, hold on, I had just pulled it up. Boing.
Yeah.
And
Word.
I believe it was Boing, but that one reminds me very much of Frank Ocean.
Word. That, I mean, Frank Ocean is, you can't see it. I have like a Frank Ocean poster in my room. Like that's God, bro. Like that's who I look up to with all this music shit. That's definitely the artist who I first heard that changed the way I like approached or thought about music. But yeah, in terms of my sound, I like to use this word. It's called, I call it left-handed music, because it's like, it's just like taking a twist on like something that kind of already exists, and like, because at the end of the day, bro, like there's only so many, like, I mean, there's people who really try to push the boundaries of like super like ambient, weird, like, you know, shit, and that's fucking fire. I love shit like that too. But for me, you know, I'm trying to keep things grounded in like popular music. And so in terms of that, like there's only so many things like that exist already, and like there's only so many chords you can play, and only so many, right? And it seems kind of limiting from that angle. But rather than do that, like I like to think of like, what kind of combination can I put together that's like weird and unique, and like nothing has ever really happened like this before. That's like the kind of shit that gets me really excited. And so I like to think of that as just like, people say left-handed, whatever, is like the other side of your brain, like the creative side of your brain. Like I like to think of my songs as that. In the past like year or so, I've been really focused on like, what kind of visuals do I see going with the song. Now at this point, when I make, like, especially after going through this with, you know, doing all these videos this year, like I've definitely like gained a lot of perspective where I'm like, yo, I see things when I write shit now too, rather than just like hearing it. But I think that just kind of came with experience in songwriting. But yeah, in terms of like, I love making shit personal. I love making references to little things like here and there, because I feel like it brings you into the room. I mean, there's songs where it's like I'm talking about shit that like nobody would have any idea like what the hell I'm really talking about. But like that's the type, those are the, it's just like picking through little memories and pieces of shit that helped me bring myself back to that place, you know? Right, so I always try to keep things personal, I would say too. But
yeah, and that's one thing that I noticed that stood out to me a lot. Your writing was not very, it was very creative, and it did you know, because I like listening to music where, you know, like the artist will be talking about like the most mundane thing, right?
That shit's fire. I love that shit.
It's fire. Like I would listen to fucking AZ talk about how whatever the fucking expensive food he's eating, and it's random, right? But it like brings you to that moment. Exactly. That's one thing. Yeah. That is one thing that I noticed about you. You have very intelligent writing, and that is one thing that I appreciate. That, man. Personally, I appreciate the fuck out of some good writing, dude.
I appreciate that, man. That's really been like my main goal. I think that's the best way to answer this question too. Is like, I don't want to be tied to like X or Y genre, or like expecting this or that, but I want people to like know me and follow me and like me because they know that I'm gonna write something cool over it, you know? Right. Like it's gonna be something that just like fits and sounds cool, you know? That's really my goal with all this.
I know you have that song coming out, and the video as well, and then you have a song coming out, or the album's actually dropping for everybody on Tuesday.
Yeah, correct? The album drops on Tuesday. It's only one new song after like all the ones. It's been like my rollout is meant to like give every song its moment, but still like have shit come together as an album at the end. But yeah, so there's one more song coming at midnight, one more song Tuesday next week. Yeah, I'm excited for that one too. I'll send you that one too, because it's not out. But
dude, oh yeah, send that.
I'll shoot the video. I'll send you the video on. I'll send it to you on Instagram right now.
Hell yeah, bro. Down.
I don't know when the video is gonna be out, but it's done. So I mean, you know, just should exist. Yeah. Same link.
That's fucking tight. And that's as far as what's coming for you, huh? Do you have anything else that's like?
Oh, I mean, yeah, we got shit. Like I literally was waiting on this last video to finish getting edited, and then I'm trying to lock back in with my guy Adam, who shoots all these videos for me. I have this collab song that I'm looking at maybe like January, February. I have this really like funny video idea for that I want to just get done, and then I'll have that ready to go. And in the meantime, I'm definitely like really kind of zoning in on this project. Whatever it is going to be like an EP or an album, but I have a couple songs right now, these pieces that sound really good together. And I'm going to keep trying to build that out, and then, you know, see how I want to put all that out. But yeah, man, I'm not going to be staying quiet.
All right. So I'd say we're about wrapped up. Hadji Gaviota, thank you so much for being with us. It was a pleasure to talk to you. I think we learned tons about you.
Yeah, most definitely.
I appreciate both you guys. Yeah, I'm Hadji Gaviota. You're watching VoidedParty. I've got an visual album called Purgatory coming out on December 15th. Check that out, watch the videos, listen to the songs. Yeah, I got a ton of more cool stuff in the pipeline. Just check me out. Think you'll like it. Yeah, appreciate you guys for real.
Much love.
Where can the people find you? Where can the people find you?
Oh yeah, Hadji, HADJI space GAVIOTA. I don't know if you can see it on my Zoom tag, but just use that shit. That's totally fine. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, SoundCloud with that name, Spotify with that name, Apple Music with that name. Yeah, pretty much everywhere. It's a unique name, so nobody else took that shit, thankfully. Yeah, you can find me anywhere you listen to music for the most part. Anywhere you just watch me be an idiot on social media, like all those things are at your fingertips. So come check me out. I'm gonna make it worth your while.
Sir. Much love, bro. Much love.
Hadji Gaviota, thank you for joining us, bro.
Appreciate you guys for real, y'all. Peace.
See you, bro.
Peace out.